Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works man cave. Got a surprise visitor who literally just walked in. Haven't even got to say hi to him yet. He got here late last night. I didn't see him this morning. And at like 13 seconds before we went live, here he comes walking in. I went like, here we go. Good to see you, Bill.
Yep, good to see you, Jay.
That's Bill Webb, and his lovely wife Ramona's here too, I think, right?
She's
You might have to get close to that.
Okay.
I didn't have time to prepare a mic, so hopefully this instrument mic will work. I don't know.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, she's watching TV.
She's watching TV, huh? Well, I've got quite a bit for you today to catch you up on a lot of things. I've got several videos. Actually, I got 4 videos to show you. And there's all kinds of developments. So let me just start with this video. Well, my friends, often my honey-do list starts in this drawer right here. Sue has said there is a problem and she wants me to fix it. And so I go to a drawer like this to find an appropriate tool based on her description on what I might need. So I'll take a few things like this. You know, you always need a screwdriver, so you might take a screwdriver too, just for grins. Doubt I'll need it, but more than likely I'm going to need this. And so I'm going to take this larger one. I'm going to take a small one too, just in case. And I'll show you what the honeydew item is for this morning. So here we go. You understand, I have not seen it myself, so I'm just based on her description. Okay, based on her description, this whole thing needs to be replaced. This whole thing, it's not good. She said it's leaking out the top. Well, so the whole thing needs to be replaced. Well, that's not my idea. My guess is that, see, there's a plunger that goes up and shuts the water off down below ground so it doesn't freeze. We left this open, by the way, because, you know, we wanted to make sure it was fixed. Well, she doesn't think it's fixed. She thinks it's broke. I bet it's leaking around this. There's a compaction washer in here that needs to be compacted. So let's open this up and see how bad it's leaking. And it's leaking bad. So there you go. I don't know. Let's see here. I have a feeling this will do the job. So let's see if we can tighten this up. Right away, it's already starting to get less. It's getting way less. And is it all the way off yet? I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. I think it's all the way off now. So let's go ahead and replace the whole thing because that had to be done. So let's see, will it shut off now? Will it still leak a little? Probably. Let's see. Maybe it needs just a tiny bit more. You don't want to get it too crazy tight. And it's weeping out the hole down there, if you can see it. And of course I dropped my screwdriver and my pliers down there. So as far as I'm concerned, that's fixed. I mean, it's gonna, you know, if it weeps a little bit, it's not that big a deal. You know, you don't want it pouring out like it was. Yeah, that's fixed. It's it's not leaking really at all now. Well, it does there's a gap right there. There's probably a little bad spot in the up or down pin, you know. But that's really good enough. That's fixed. There we go. Crisis aborted.
Yeah, that happens a lot around here. Like everything just like it's on fire. It needs to be fixed immediately, you know. So I get down there and it's generally like that. It's not a big deal. But you never do know. You never know. Sometimes they are on fire. I just, you know. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. I think where I left you last time was that I couldn't have a vlog on Wednesday because I was going to play a show for the Lucy Wortham James Elementary School. Now, I'm just showing you an abbreviated part of one of the little programs. We had to do it 6 times. So what you're seeing here, you can multiply that times 6 because there were 6 classes. You're just seeing a little portion of one class. So here it is.
All right, well, guys, I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to show you some artifacts, and I've got Civil War artifacts from the Civil War. I also have Native American artifacts like arrowheads and things like that. But first, I'm going to sing you a song about some of these artifacts I found. I found a lady's wedding ring in the spring. You know what a spring is? That's where water comes out of the ground, and where they would wash their clothes and get their drinking water and things. So I found a lady's wedding ring, and I found a bunch of Civil War bullets and all kinds of Civil War stuff around that same spring. So this song, I wrote this song about that, finding all this stuff by that spring. So here you go. It's called The Wedding Band. Sarah married John in '64. And in that same year he marched off to war, leaving Sarah in the valley all alone. That would change soon after he had gone. She washed the baby's clothes in the nearby spring, and it was there she lost her precious wedding ring. Feeling more alone, she longed for his return. The nights were long as her heart would yearn. And then 160 years pass into view, when her precious wedding band was found anew, just as if her soul were there for all to see. Sarah, John, and their baby. You know, you're the nicest crowd we played for all day. Very nice. Let's see. I've got one more. What's the holiday that happens this month?
Halloween.
Halloween, right. Well, I've got a creepy ghost story to sing for you. But before I do, what am I playing? What is this?
A banjo.
A banjo.
I love Halloween.
Huh? A ukulele. And what else? What's the other one that everybody keeps thinking it is? Violin. Yep. No, it ain't none of those. It's called a mandolin. A mandolin. And guess what? Today is Missouri Day, right? Well, where do you think it came from? Missouri. You got it. And guess who made it?
You.
I made it. You see that rose there carved in the back? And then there's a rose up here. Well, my last name is Rosa, and so I use a rose as my logo. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so get ready. I'm going to scare the pants off of you with this ghost story here, okay? This is scary. Are you ready? I was driving down a lonely road on a dark and stormy stormy night, when a little girl by the roadside showed up in my headlight. I stopped, she crawled in the back, and in a shaky tone, she said, "My name is Mary, please won't you take me home?" Now she must have been so frightened, all alone there in the night. There was something strange about her, 'cause her face was deathly white. She sat there pale and quiet, in the backseat all alone. And I'll never forget the day I took Mary home. I pulled into the driveway, she told me to go. I got out to help her from the car, then I opened up the door. But I just could not believe my eyes, 'cause the back seat was bare. And I looked all around the car, but Mary wasn't there. And a light shone from the front porch, someone opened up the door. And I asked about the little girl that I was searching for. The lady gently smiled as she brushed a tear away. She said, "It sure was nice of you to go out of your way." But 13 years ago tonight, in a wreck just down the road, our darling Mary lost her life, and we miss her so. Thank you for the roughness and the trouble you have shown. You're the 13th one that's been here, bringing Mary home. So what was Mary?
A ghost.
She was a ghost, wasn't she? Wow, isn't it creepy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sad too, isn't it? Okay, well, if you all want to stand up and come up here, please don't touch anything, but you're welcome to come up and look at the stuff up here, but just don't touch, okay? And we're going to talk about some of this stuff real quick.
That looks like these are like
Okay, well, most of the stuff in this case is Native American artifacts. They're like mostly, listen, they're mostly spear points. Now, over, but let me show you the Civil War stuff first, okay? Let me show you this first. These are Civil War bullets. These came from the Civil War specifically. This is called a mini ball, and this is called this bigger one, and I've lost it. Here it is. This bigger one's also called a mini ball. Now, they weren't called mini balls because they're small. They were called mini balls because the general that came up with them, his last name was Mini, M-I-N-I.
We did that 6 times, and you only saw a small piece of it. Yeah, there was a lot going on. It takes a lot out of you. It kind of wears you out. Well, and then, of course, the next morning, we headed down to Mountain View, and we did have a real good time down in Mountain View this time. Good jamming. Lots of people showed up that, watched the channel and stuff. Before we get to our little video clip that I have on the Mountain View stuff, let me bring you up to date on the Polaris Ranger episode here. This, it just speaks for itself.
My friends, in my never-ending search to figure out what's wrong with this Ranger, you may recall that I did a compression test and it went up to like 120, 130. I walked all the way up to the house to get my phone to record this,
You can see even after going up there and coming back, it's still up over 190. It actually peaked at about 205 or somewhere in there on this one side. Now that's the difference between this pressure tester and the Harbor Freight one. The Harbor Freight one being that orange box sitting over on the shelf. I saw a guy on YouTube saying that, you know, you can't really test these small engines with the Harbor Freight compression tester. And I thought, that doesn't make any sense. You know, compression's compression. Pressure is pressure. Well, that one tested at about 120. This one tested at 200. And the 200 is the right number because that's what they say this is supposed to test to. But that also proves that this engine's in good shape, considering it's a 2009 and it's got over 200 PSI. Like I said, it's leaked down a hair, but it's only, I've been up there, you know, it took me 5 minutes to walk up and back, and it's only leaked down that much. So that's pretty good if you ask me. We'll go ahead and test the other side, but I don't think there's really any need to because both sides tested the same before. They tested at about 120, between 120 and 130. But just to prove to myself in a sanity check, we'll go ahead and check the other side too. I'll have to pull the plug out. When I get the thing set up, I'll turn you back on here. Okay, so I have not tried this test yet on the other cylinder, but we're going to do it. And I just wanted to make the point that if you've been testing small engines with the Harbor Freight compression tester, you really should consider getting this Mighty Vac. That's what it's the name brand, Mighty Vac on Amazon. It's just huge difference. So let's just check this now. Before this tested at about 120, 130, somewhere in between there. And now I believe it'll go up to 200. So let's see. There you go. So it tested right at 200 also. And, you know, it seems to be holding, as you can see there. So, my friends, you've been warned. If you're getting real low compression testing on with the Harbor Freight, in other words, I'll tell you the example I saw. The guy tested a chainsaw with the Harbor Freight one, and it tested at like 45. Then he put this one on, and it in the same chainsaw, in the same frame. He didn't stop the video. In the same video, it tested like 180 something. So, I mean, that's a huge difference. The Harbor Freight tester, he said, is a fine tester for automotive, but it's not good for small engines. So there you go. Just, you've been warned. Do what you want, but it's been proven to me that he is correct. Well, my friends, on the never-ending saga of the Polaris Ranger 700 XP EFI, pain in the neck. No, it's actually been a good machine. I mean, it's a 2009. You should expect to have a few problems by now, wouldn't you? Well, yeah, and I'm having a few. It won't start, won't run. The last time it started was a week or two ago, and it ran for like 3 or 4 seconds perfectly and then shut off. You know, prior to that, I couldn't get it started for quite a while, and I put in, new plugs and stuff, and it started, so I thought, well, maybe that was it, but obviously that wasn't the whole problem. I'm beginning to believe now, especially based on your all's comments, that it might be the crank position sensor. And I think that's it right there. I'm not 100% sure that that's it, but I believe that's it. And so I'm going to get that deal out of there and try to do some bench testing on it and see if we can figure out if that could be the problem. Well, I have already done this, but I'll show you what I did. I don't think I know any more than I did, but the outer 2 wires, there's 3 wires here going into this plug. The outer 2 wires, I get 555 ohms of resistance every time I check it. Well, that time I got 554, wouldn't you know, but every other time has been 555.
554 now. Okay, but if I go to the middle one to either one, I get nothing. So I don't know, is that the way it's designed? There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Only if I touch the two outside ones, which are white and yellow, I get 554 ohms of resistance. I heard they're supposed to be in the neighborhood of 800 to 1,000. So I'm suspecting this might be my problem. I'm going to see if I can find the service manual and see if it tells you on this, or find it online. Well, as my typical luck has it on these small things, I don't think that's my problem, because it says that when I Googled it, it says it should be between 504 and 616, and it should be on the white and yellow wires, which is the ones I was testing, and I'm getting 554. I fall dead center in the middle. I don't see how that could be my problem, since that is testing perfectly. My friends, I have almost exhausted everything I can think to check on this thing. I still have not found a problem. Everything I've tested has tested okay. I've tested, I know I've got new plugs in it. I've got new injectors in it. To the best of my ability, I've tested the plug coils. I've tested the position crank switch on the crankshaft. I've tested that. It tests fine according to the bench test. I don't know. The throttle position sensor, I've set that to what I think is standard. I've done that before, and it seems to usually work. It's not working right now, of course. I don't know. There's a zillion things I've tested. Here's the thing I'm checking right now, and this is the only thing I found that doesn't seem right. This is the ignition switch. I pulled it out of the dash and brought it inside here. And the fellow online says this will cause your Ranger not to start. He says if you have power on the orange wire. Now, so you can see it lit up there. So I have power on the orange wire. He says you should not have power on the orange wire. And I had Sue come down to check, and she said that is the orange wire for sure. And there's supposed to be a brown wire, and she says there's no brown wire there. There is one way back here. This is the brown wire on that, and I don't know. That's supposed to be the ground wire. So if it is, that's whatever. Or this one's the ground wire, maybe. I don't know. The point is, you shouldn't have power on the orange wire, and that's the only orange wire I can see in there. So I'm thinking about trying to order a new switch for this thing. I've been aggravated with the switch anyway. The thing spins in the socket. It shouldn't be spinning in the socket like it does. But I don't know if that's got anything to do with anything other than just aggravation. So we're going to see about that, I guess. It won't hurt to put a new one on there.
It's driving me crazy. No, the switch though. This one guy was real. He seemed like he knew a lot about these things, and he was really adamant about the thing that if you have power on that orange wire, your Ranger won't start. So I do. I have power on the orange wire, and the switch has been giving me trouble for months and months anyway. Like I said, when you turn the key, the whole switch turns, and I've tightened it. I've tried to get it to stay, and it won't stay. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, other than maybe it's twisted the wires enough that it's made a short there or something, and that's why I have power. I don't know. Anyway, in my typical luck, that Rosa luck that I have, I thought, well, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and order one. It can't be that expensive, and it needs one anyway because it keeps twisting. So I go in there to Amazon to order it this morning, and guess what? I broke Amazon. It don't work either. I tried, I'm not kidding you, I tried like at least a half dozen times at different times this morning to get on there and order a switch, And I don't know if Amazon's down. Does anybody else know if Amazon is totally down? Because it would not work for me this morning. I tried at different computers. I tried on my tablet. I tried on this computer up here, the one in the shop, and no, it wasn't going to let me order that darn switch. It's like when it rains, it pours. It's just nuts. So there you go. On a different note, here's a little bit of what happened in Mountain View. And unfortunately, I didn't get to do as much recording on it as I was planning. But if you pay attention to what the notes on the screen, you might be interested in checking out a couple of other videos that I've put out. So take a look at this.
All of me, when I take all of me, can't you see I'm no good without you? I'll take my lips, I'll never use them. Take my arms, I wanna lose them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart. Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I'll never use them. Take my arms, I wanna lose. Hear your goodbye. Let me with eyes of pride. How could I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart. So why not take all me? Oh, why not take all of me?
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Oh, thank you.
I'll work on that one.
This is where we stay at the Naughty Squirrel here, these little cabins. It's a nice place. I just thought I'd show you that I've got a visitor knocking on my door right now. I just thought I'd show you what he looks like. Can you see that guy? That dude is huge. That thing, it's bigger than it looks. That thing's 5 inches tall. We have those in Missouri, but they ain't never that big. Praying mantis, I guess is what it's called. We played 2 nights so far in a row. We've played underneath this awning. Had a real good jam, and a small crowd out here. Not a big crowd, but we had a decent crowd. But this is a really nice place to play under. You can hear yourself real good, and the crowd has a place to sit. It's supposed to rain this evening, so we don't know if we're going to get to play out here tonight or not. Just depends if the rain's over with by that time. I think we will. There's an outside chance I'll try to record some of this live tonight and do a just a regular live video, but I don't know if that'll be possible or not. I don't know if their internet is fast enough, but we'll give it a shot and see what happens. Well, I did try to do a live stream from there, but unfortunately I got the phone connected and everything, and it started out, and then it just kind of like hung, and I couldn't figure out. There was nothing on the screen that I could press. The screen was almost just blank, and there was nothing there, and it wouldn't go any further. So after about 5 minutes of trying, I finally just gave up and said, well, there you go. So we had a good jam, though. 3 nights we jammed under there, and there was, a reasonable number of folks listening and stuff. It was just a lot of fun. We had a good time. In terms of the Amazon thing, I just want to apologize to the entire world for bringing it down this morning. I'm very sorry. I realize that I should, be more careful and maybe not need something so fiercely. And if I didn't need it that bad, I probably wouldn't have gone down. But the fact that I needed that sucker and I was really wanting to get on it, I knew it wouldn't, there you go. It was my fault, and I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Anyway, let's see. I think that's everything I was going to cover. Let's go to the comments. Rod Wintler is the first one up there today. David Tharp says, howdy, y'all. He says, I was thinking of keeping bees, but I'd get hives. Yeah, well, trust me, if you get stung enough from them, you'll get hives all right. More ways than one. Man, no. I had bees 2 or 3 different times in my life, and I never got used to it. They always said beekeepers will get used to the stings, and they don't bother you so bad. Not me. No, I would itch for 3 days every time I got stung, and it was intense. And swelling, I would swell so big, like I'd get stung in the face, it'd swell my eyes shut, I just didn't get used to it at all. And I got stung a lot. I mean, like not just one time, or 3 times. I got stung a bunch of times over the years, and I never got used to it. But they say you do. They just don't know me. Joe Nigan's there. CBH Ringer from Nova Scotia, Canada. Wayne Blitz. David Thorpe says, for her birthday, I took my wife out to a fancy, expensive dinner. She said, this time let me pay for the meal. I said, don't be stupid. Keep running. We're halfway home. Let's see here. You could probably relate to that, couldn't you? Yeah, I can relate to it too. Let's see. Ben Boyd. Hey, Jerry, I'm watching you from mountains in Sicily. Wow, that's cool. I hope the jam in Mountain View went well. I would have loved to have been there. Well, that would have been cool had you been there. But I imagine Sicily's okay. I imagine you're probably doing okay there. That sounds like a neat place to be. Ronald Todd. Good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Banks of New Jersey. Bill Webb. He's on the screen and he's there too. Says good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Let's see. Bill Mumbo. You got two different usernames. You got a Bill Webb username. What's the other one? What's the other? BMW or something?
The String Works, that's my new YouTube channel.
For your business?
Yeah, I hadn't got it off the ground yet.
Well, tell them while you're speaking into the mic there.
Okay.
Tell them about your new business.
Well, thanks to Jerry, and I give him most of the credit. The rest goes to God for giving me the patience and the ability to do it. But I've started my own business. It's called BMW 65 String Works out of Commerce, Texas. And I'm basically taking the things that I learned watching Jerry on YouTube, among several other folks, but mainly Jerry, and that's what I do now. Mostly just putting strings on guitars and violins and mandolins and you name it, it's got strings. Some minor repairs, stuff like that. We have a little retail shop there, and my buddy Brad Davis that lets me rent the front of his place has got a state-of-the-art recording studio in the back room, and so he does his thing in the back, and I do my thing in the front, and we got a pretty good
deal going.
Set up. Word of mouth is getting out, and people are calling and asking questions and coming in with instruments, and I'm paying the rent, so it's
working out.
Yep. Thank you, Jerry.
Well, that's good. That's wonderful. Glad to hear it. Well, like I've said, so many people, many people have said many times, you need to get an apprentice. And I keep saying, well, I got thousands of them all over the world. I mean, based on the emails I get, I don't mean to make it sound like I'm bragging, pat myself on the back. I'm just telling you based on the feedback I get, I must have a lot of apprentices out there because they are always emailing me and telling me, thank you for showing me how to do this. I've learned how to do it now. I do it myself now, So that's...
I think I discovered your videos in 2017 while I was working for the school. And so I've been watching them since at least 2017.
Cool.
And so I can't say I've seen them all. I don't know if I've seen them all.
Well, I would say a rare few people have seen them all.
Yeah.
Maybe Eddie. Eddie's about the only one I can really think of that has seen them all.
and I was telling somebody the other day about, we was talking about instrument repair, and he was talking about a violin that was busted, and he was thinking about fixing it himself and wondering, if he could. And I said, well, you don't know if you don't try. And I said, you want to see a busted violin repair? I said, you need to go to RSW, RosaStringWorks.com or Rosa Stringworks on YouTube and look and do a search for RSW chocolate and watch him repair that violin. I said I was sitting and watched him with a pair of tweezers, sticking little splinters of wood into little, and just putting that thing together. It was like a jigsaw puzzle with no picture.
It was definitely a jigsaw puzzle. What was really amazing about that violin, though, was that there were only 2 tiny pieces of wood that were missing. You know, everything else was there. There was just splinters everywhere.
Yep.
And we put them all back where they belong. There was only 2 little tiny pieces missing.
That was our first visit up here was when you were working on chocolate.
Oh, that's
And I got
right.
to see
That's
that.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget Sue's expression when we opened the case on that one. She goes, "Why did you get this? You can't fix this." I said, "Challenge accepted." Well, after we went live, David Tharp says, "I was watching Jurassic Park the other day and wondered why did I give my son that stupid name and why was he so bad at driving?" That's another one of those. I'd have to read it 5 times.
Yeah, I didn't get that one either.
Okay. I'm going to pass that one up for now. David, you're too deep of a thinker, man. I can't think that fast and read at the same time. You got to make them easy. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon, Jerry. Well, good afternoon back at you. Then David says, a mommy asked to reserve a table for Pharaoh, whatever that is, Sakarakatep. The manager said, could you spell that, please? He said, a bird, 2 triangles, waving.
Bird again.
I get that one. Hieroglyphics. Huh? You're describing, spelling it with hieroglyphics. Never mind. Oh my gosh. Let's see. You are messed up, David. Bill Mumbo. Been. That is actually funny. Been listening to a couple of Molly Tuttle albums today. Well, you can't go wrong there. She's very good. Michael Wilson says, that's a fine sounding mandolin. Well, thank you, Michael. Again, it sounds like I'm bragging. It's just, to me, it's more like a fact or something, The one thing that's happened over the years as I've met other luthiers, and even before I started building, really, I would go and visit these different luthiers, and their common theme with almost every single one of them is, well, every one of them sounds different. When you build them, they'll all sound different. Well, I haven't found that to be the case. I think almost every one of my mandolins sounds very similar to the others. Oh, there's a rare exception here or there. Like my redwood mandolin sounds a little different than the other ones, but that's because it's got a redwood top, and all the rest of them have spruce top. But the ones that all have spruce tops, they pretty much all sound exactly the same. So like the world's finest mandolin, quote unquote. I was playing that this weekend, and Bruce was playing his Kentucky with the Rosa top on it. Those 2 tops are carved exactly the same. And when I say exactly the same, I mean down to the 1,000th of an inch. I really take a lot of time and a lot of pain to make sure that they're carved exactly the same. And honest, to me, they sound just about exactly the same. They don't sound very different at all. I mean, if you're a dog and you can hear that kind of detail, I'm sure there's some minor differences, but overall they sound pretty similar. And I think it's because I carve them exactly the same. And and if you even back up the truck further than that, my Uncle Don's mandolin, which is the one I took apart, which was the 1924 Lloyd Lohr, I measured that top in thousands of inches all over, and I carved mine exactly like that. His mandolin was exceptionally loud. My mandolin is exceptionally loud. As a matter of fact, this is a true story, and another thing that happened this weekend. I was sitting on the porch of the Wildflower, which is about at least a block and a half from the Naughty Squirrel there. And when Bruce came out of the Naughty Squirrel that morning, and I was over at the Wildflower, which is, like I said, a block and a half, and there's buildings in between and a road in between. And Bruce said when he came out, he could hear my mandolin. That's how loud they are. I mean, they're just exceptionally loud compared to your average mandolin. And that, my Uncle Don's was that way. That Lloyd Loar just happened to be about the loudest Lloyd Loar I've ever heard, So I think there's a lot to the fact that it's in the top. It's how that top is carved. Same way with a guitar or anything else. It's all about focus your attention on the top. If you're a luthier and you're wanting to build a good instrument, spend your time on the top. The back and the sides matter, but the top is where everything really happens. There you go. And it's really only common sense if you think about it. What are the strings attached to? And so there you go. Let's see. David Tharp arrived at my kleptomaniac anonymous meeting and all the seats were taken. David, cut it out. You're going to get me I'm going to be rolling here in a minute. Let's see. I like stupid jokes like that. Let's see. Dottie's praying for me. Thank you, Dottie. And about the kidney stones and all that. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really do. Because, boy, I need all the help I can get. It seems like it's just almost worse every day. Although the kidney stone thing, I think, is looking up, considering the doctor was able to figure out that it is the oxalates that are causing my stones. So I've cut as many of the oxalates out as I can. And when you don't eat very much, it's not easy to cut out very much. Let's see. Paul Akers, still think it's the valve timing. Well, I still think it could be. I don't disagree that it could be that. It's just that's hard to get to, and you have to go pretty deep into the engine to get to that. So I don't want to go there yet. I'm going to try this switch and see if this does fix it. You never know. It might. Because, like I said, the switch has been giving me trouble for quite a long time, and now, all of a sudden, it's got this power on that wire that's not supposed to have power. So, there you go. So I'm going to check that next. Let's see. Dottie says, sure, our Glad Rosa group are back. Well, thank you, Dottie. Let's see. David Thorpe says, I've been feeling kind of listless lately, so I made a list that did the trick. So I made a list that did the trick. I got it. I just can't read. Let's see. Jeff Puris, big network problems on the jungle. Yeah, well, apparently, Amazon. So, I saw like 12 or so comments on Amazon about, the fact that it's down. There's Bo Horn, or Newton Horn. He was there, and Bo was doing some good singing over the weekend there at Mountain View. The Cunninghams were down there. The John and I think Sandy was their names. The Taylors, which is Elizabeth Taylor and Dan Taylor, were there. Those were the viewers. And then, let's see, Bert Pichon and his whole family was down there. Bert got his guitar back, that 1941 Martin that I made, or I repaired for him. I reset the neck and made him a new bridge. And, of course, Bruce was there. You saw him on the video. And Tony Smith, the guitar player, was there, and Don Davis, the bass player, was there. Gary Haven was there. We had quite a crew down there. I'm sure I'm missing several. And then there was a couple of locals that played with us, came up there and played at the Naughty Squirrel with us too. So we had a good time. Let's see. These are all comments about the Amazon, so I'm going to pass up most of that. William McCormick says, excellent presentation, sir. These young ones will remember this day and no doubt benefit in the future. Well, I've had, good feedback over the years from these talks that I give the kids. The kids get bigger, and then they see me later, and they tell me how much they enjoyed it and how much they remember from it and all that stuff. So I've had good feedback from it. It's been kind of cool. In fact, Cash was one of them, believe it or not. Cash went to that same school. And incidentally, which it was just a coincidence, I saw Cash's mother at the school that day because she's got another youngster going there too. And I don't know if she teaches there too. She may teach there. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I saw her there while I was giving that presentation. Let's see. I don't know. Some of these look like Bob Weaver doesn't have any question marks, but he says, I wish I was walking down that road and had a chance to stop and listen. Looks and sounds like a nice time. Yeah, when we're playing there on the Wildflower Porch, that's where you were hearing those two tunes that we played for you. That was on the Wildflower Porch. And it's right on the intersection there of the corner, catty-cornered from the courthouse, which is where a lot of the activity takes place down there. But there's so many cars and things passing by, it can be a little annoying on that too, and especially when the motorcycles come through. You know, the motorcycles.
Yeah, those loud pipes.
He's a motorcycle kind of guy. Some of those people seem like they take the mufflers off just to make them louder or something. I don't know. Anyway, of course. Theron Corbett says, not to get you on a rant, but Seafoam Deep Creep Penetrating Oil worked instantly on some stuck EGR bolts and spark plugs for me this weekend. Okay, well, I'm glad it worked for you. I have never had any of it work. I shouldn't say it that way. It'll work if you've got something that's loose where it can get into it. But if it's tight, it can't get in there. You can believe what you want, but if it's tight, like I said, take a jar lid, screw it on a jar, pour it around that jar lid, see how much gets inside the jar. It won't. It can't get in there. It's impossible. Once it's airtight, that penetrating oil doesn't penetrate. Now, if it's loose, it'll go in there for sure. If it's a loose, rusty thing. Let's see. David Tharp, I ordered some German food from Amazon. The sauerkraut has arrived, but the worst is yet to come. Where do you come up with all this, David? You should be writing for,
Nobody has a book.
Yeah, he probably has something. I'm sure he's Googling it or something. He's doing something. But if you're creating some of these, you need to be writing for some famous comic like Jay Leno or somebody. Of course, dating myself, but you know what I mean. Let's see. G&P Old Marine Shop. Hi, Jerry. What kind of timing does that machine have? Gear belt. It's got a chain. There's a chain with 2 cogs in there. And like I said, I actually do know how to check the timing on it. I know exactly what to do, but I don't want to tear it that far apart. Especially since the compression's good and all that and everything else is checking out. And like I said, it ran for 3 seconds. Perfectly sounding. It won't run at all if the timing's off. It just won't. There's no chance that it'll run if the timing's off. So I don't think it's timing either, honestly, but I'm not ruling that out. I do think it could be timing, but I'm going to wait till the last thing before I tear the engine apart, because that's, if you tear the engine apart and it's not the timing, that's not a good day. So, anyway, Bill Mumbo, I've ordered from Amazon today in England, folks. Aha. Let's see. David Thorpe says, I've seen them all at least once and some 2 or 3 times. Okay. I'm glad you've seen them. Let's see. William Church, great hosting with students. Thank you. Michael Love says, my Amazon is acting up also. Well, like I said, I apologize to everybody for knocking Amazon down this morning. Hopefully they'll get it back under control. Gino Hitch, sorry I'm late, Jerry and friends. Shopping for tile at Home Depot. Mark Nadsum says, See you soon, Jerry. Maybe Yolanda and I will swing by to chat tomorrow. Okay, that'd be fine. Mark Nasm says, loud pipes save lives. Maybe. They may create a little deafness, though. David Tharp, your videos. Oh, okay. I've seen them all at least once and some 2 or 3 times. Well, there you go. There you go. I like that.
So he's the one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for now. I appreciate you being here. And we will see you tomorrow with something else. Hopefully it'll be with at least some good news that I was able to order the part from Amazon. We'll talk to you then.